Hello everyone, and welcome to this project management and data visualization video. In today's walkthrough, we'll be exploring a shuttle service business based in the Greater Toronto Area, and how data can be used to improve operational decision-making, profitability, and fleet management. So you can see here at the top of this dashboard, this is the fleet for the shuttle service. So there's Chevy Express 15 seats, Chevy Express 12 seats, Dodge Caravan, that's a 7-seater, a Ford Transit 12-seater, a Ford Transit 15-seater. So this is a Ford Turtle Top, and so it has 24 seats. Mercedes Sprinter 12, Mercedes Sprinter 15. This is a Mitsubishi, it's an electric hybrid gas vehicle, 7-seater. And then this is the Volkswagen ID Buzz, which is a 7-seater and it's purely electric. The goal of this dashboard is to provide management with a complete view of their shuttle operations, allowing them to monitor trips, vehicles, drivers, expenses, revenues, and overall business performance in a single location. For this business, understanding profitability is critical. Management wants to know not only how much profit they are making overall, but also which specific trips, routes, and vehicles are generating the highest returns, and which ones may be losing money. Using this dashboard, they can track total trips completed, profit to date, we'll go into that here, fuel costs, and operating expenses. They can drill down into individual trips and analyze important details such as passenger counts, trip distances, revenue generated, fuel consumption, and profit earned. The dashboard also provides visibility into driver information, as you can see on the top right here, and I'll demo that. Users can quickly identify which drivers are assigned to upcoming trips, review vehicle information, which we'll go into here, and monitor maintenance schedules to ensure the fleet remains safe and operational. From a fleet management perspective, the business can track odometer readings, service dates, oil changes, oil change schedules, warranty information, and maintenance history. This helps reduce downtime and allows for proactive maintenance planning. So users, again, will be able to come over here and filter the dashboard by date. As we get into the demo, you'll see how that works as well. They can filter the dashboard by date, vehicle, driver, passenger, type. So we have the shuttle business has specific passenger types. So you can see here they allow adults. So anyone can ride, any adult can ride that trip. This one is specifically for children, and they have a ladies only service. So you can filter by that as well. For this shuttle business and for all shuttle services, the following questions are important to track and monitor as part of your project management and your business operation. Which vehicles generate the highest profits? Which routes are the most profitable? What trips are operating at a loss? How much revenue is being generated compared to expenses? Are fuel costs impacting profitability? Which vehicles are due for maintenance? How effectively is the fleet being utilized? And finally, I will go into the location mapping component, which provides a geographic view of the shuttle service operations, helping management understand where trips are occurring and where resources are being deployed. I'm assuming that since you're watching this video, you either are thinking of running a shuttle service, already have a shuttle service, or you're working for a shuttle service. So let's start from the beginning. So at the top here, this is the total number of trips that are taken entirely. So this dashboard reflects between the time of March 2026 and right before June 2026. So between those 3 months, there were 145 total trips taken. And of that, the profit to date is 5.26K. Okay? And so here we can just see that today's date where the report is run, the gas prices per liter. So we have regular, premium, and diesel, and then hydro prices per kilowatt. So off-peak time, mid-peak, and on-peak time. So really depending on when that electric car, in this case it's the Volkswagen and the Mitsubishi, are charged, those are what the prices are going to be. Okay? Moving on to the trip side of the report. So you can see here that The trips range from, like I said, March 2nd, 2026, and the last trip was taken May 29, 2026. So you can now look at these trips based on the date using this slider. So if I only want to see the earlier trips, maybe between before April or before May, I would put my slider to reflect that. So I'll take this and I'll move it to down here. So let's say April 9. And then as you're doing that, you'll start to see that the trips that you can review and look at start to become smaller. So here are the trips right here. So I'm going to zoom out of this one more time so you can see exactly what it is. So it shows you the route ID. So there's about 15 trips between 100 and 117. And it looks like they're not exactly sequential, but there's about 15 trips, okay? So we have the route ID, the route date, the type, and the driver. So if I click on any of these routes, I should be able to see quickly what that route's going to look like. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll click here at this ladies only trip. And we can see that this route is going to be on March the 2nd. There are 14 passengers traveling and the seating capacity allows for 15. It's going to be between 11. It's going to depart at 11 a.m. at 875 Dufferin Street. It's a 10.25 kilometer trip and it should arrive by 11:45 at 1132 Leslie Street. And the type of fuel we're using is unleaded gas. And by the calculations that the report has done, it's going to cost $30.55 for this trip. And we're going to earn $96. So we're only going to take back and profit $65.45. And so on and so forth, right? So this is what we want to know per trip. Say we want to see, okay, if we need to cancel a trip, let's say this Ford Transit adults only Ford Transit trip, 11 passengers we're expecting. So there's our vehicle. And so here's our driver summary. This is our driver here. So this is Ethan who's driving this trip. And this is his ID. He has a Class F license. And this is his last health certification date. So at least in Ontario, I'm not sure about other cities, states, and wherever you are, you do have to recertify, get a health certification if you're going to be operating a commercial vehicle. And so this is the last time that this driver specifically, and names were changed for this demonstration. And so this is our driver 106 is Ethan here. And so Ethan has 6 years experience. And this particular trip is going to be the Ford Transit 12. And that particular vehicle has an odometer reading in kilometers. We are in Ontario, Canada. So about 10,000 kilometers is on this Ford Transit 12-seater. And so this is pretty important here. So specifically, if we're looking to schedule a trip where accessibility is required, you'd have to look for a vehicle that can handle that in a trip that's going to be able to accommodate that. So this particular vehicle is not wheelchair accessible. Its last service date was in January of this year, and its next oil change is in April 26th, so that would have already happened. And the service warranty expiry date, so as soon as the business would be out of pocket for a lot of those regular maintenance trips in 2 years, approximately 2 years. And the last reason it went to be serviced was a brake pad replacement. So these are quick details that anybody who is looking for that information, and this is in the past, so they can see financial summary again here. Make this a bit bigger so we can see. Again, this is the Ford Transit for that particular trip that we clicked. Route 109, Ford Transit 12. Total route expenses. The trip cost $29.41 in lead, maintenance, etc. Averages. Route expense revenue. We made $40 on that trip, but the profit we took back was, because of the expenses, was $10.59. Okay, so let's go back and see how the rest of it works. So let's look for, I'll expand the dates here. Let's look for a children's only trips. So we'll see if we have any. We do have an upcoming children only trip. And so this date was set back for this demo. So as the time had passed already. So Route 108 on the 25th of May is a children only trip and the driver is Linda. Let's click that and take a look at what we're looking at here. 4 passengers. Linda's expecting to drive 4 children and she can take 15. And that trip is 12.46 kilometers. And again, this is Not a huge profit, but in this case, no money was lost on this trip, so this might be just a regular trip. It is, $4, sorry, 4 passengers. And so for this particular business, they do have a rate set for cost per ride per person, depending on your age. If it is a ladies only trip, there's a different fee. So depending on your pricing structure, you can try to um, track things like this. And again, we can see Linda, she has a Class G, 15 years experience, her last health check, etc. Now, this particular trip for children, it is the Mercedes Sprinter 15-seater is wheelchair accessible. So you can see that here, and it does run on diesel. So that kind of maybe affects the profit, depending on what we're looking at, right? Because diesel, the price, depending on when it was filled up, like this is price per that day at the top, right? So depending on when it was filled up. And that's something that's not on this particular dashboard, but a business may want to keep track of as well. Okay, so, and this as we go down visually, again, we can see here the total profit by vehicle and the route ID. So that particular trip, you start to see the breakdown of the pricing. Okay, so I think we've seen enough for a children's trip. Okay. And the same thing applies to, again, ladies only. So you'll see that color is in pink, so chosen is yellow. Ladies only is in pink, and you can see there's a few upcoming ladies only trips, and then you can see the ones that passed and who their drivers were. So in this case, you can start to see here for ladies only trips what the profits were and for what particular trips. We can see that Route 103 was particularly profitable. Maybe not so much the Dodge Caravan trip 106. So once we start to look at these things, you can kind of figure out, okay, what is, worthwhile if we're looking to reduce certain trips or, schedule or kind of combine that type of thing. So I wanted to show you the map as well. So I want to spend some time in the financial summary and the locations area here. So financial summary, you can now start to see by month. So any number in black, of course, is a profit. It's a good thing. And any number that is here in red means that money was lost. Okay. So money was lost on the total top trip. So this is overall in the last 3 months. And we did have like about 5 trips where no profit was made. So that's something that you'd want to look at, right? So, and it's not depending necessarily on the vehicle because as you can see, the total profit was 5.26K, but it looks like, the 4 transit trips. But again, there were 27 of them. So that's a very common route that runs. And the company is not losing money on it. So I would say, keep that trip. Maybe look at either if the 4 Turtle Top only ran 4 times, start to look at how many passengers were picked up. And if you don't need the 24-seater, maybe run it on the Dodge Caravan, maybe run it on one of the lesser expensive vehicles to run, right? So the Mercedes Sprinter, again, these are the diesel, 6 trips for Mercedes Sprinter. Again, for 6 trips, like you don't want to be losing money. So we have 5 trips here that we really need to examine and figure out, like 101, 113, 107, 105 with the ID Buzz. This one only ran 5 times, but it didn't lose too much. So, and again, this is over 3 months. So let's look at it, if you start to kind of look at, let's say, April. So circumstantially, if gas prices or electricity or hydro costs were higher in those months, those are also decisions you can start to make and or take into consideration, right? Because gas prices are now going a little bit down, or if they're going up, maybe look at using the ID Buzz or the Mitsubishi hybrid more often, right? So let's just look at the Turtle Top here. Just want to see if okay, so there was profit made on the Turtle Top 6 trips. So this may be a route issue because the Turtle Top was profitable for 6 trips for Route 114. And we can see these are the trips here. So it looks like it's a heavily ladies only trip. So, and that's 114. So the ladies only trips for the Ford Turtle Top is profitable. And we can see 9 passengers, 21. So it was filled up. So I would say, that again, these are the details you need to make decisions with. Like you wouldn't eliminate using the four total top if you're making that amount of money from it. It's just this particular route you might want to look at one-on-one, right? So as you go through, or maybe you can go by the type of fuel. Let's see for our electric how we're doing. So the Volkswagen ID Buzz there. But yeah, that's the idea. Okay. And then you can go by month, you can go by vehicle name again and fuel. And then when you come down further, and I'm hoping to also get to the locations before this gets a little bit too long. Now this is more of a visual representation of the profit by vehicle. So you can visually see that the Ford Transit 15 on Route 103 is very high profit. It's a really good route for this business, right? Again, both of the Ford Transits look like they're doing pretty well, I would say. Keep running Route 103, Route 117, and that Ford Total Top is making the most money, the third most money right there. Just not making money when it's not a ladies only trip. So I would personally eliminate it. Its use for a non-ladies only trip at this point, unless you can get another client or another source of passengers where you'd need that big 24-seater. Maybe run some maybe rural area routes where, maybe people need to come to work and come into the city from further areas. That would make more sense. I'm not personally too concerned about that loss here of $5.90 for the ID Buzz. I mean, that's having one electric car fully in the fleet is not something that I would say is a bad idea. So moving over here, this shows management or whoever, is running the report where these routes are across the city. So we look like we're heavy in the downtown area of Toronto, less in Etobicoke. North York, we're not really servicing, and Scarborough a little bit. So we can kind of, we can click on those routes. So this goes by longitude and latitude. So those are also need to be stored in, your Excel files or your Google Sheets or whatever you're using is an input to this report. So if there is enough interest in this, I can do a video of how this was built in the back end. I can show you the reports. So I can show you the actual Excel files. I can share them with you so you can customize them for yourself. I can step by step show you how this actually was, came together step by step so you can build it for yourself fully. But you'll have to comment and let me know that that's something you wish to see. Otherwise, this is kind of an overall view of what people can do with this type of project management for shuttle services specifically. So there are tools to do this type of thing, but this one was specifically catered for a business in the GTA. It can be used anywhere, but this is the information they wanted to see. Depending on your business, you may wish to see something else, but it's easily customizable once you have like the bare bones, right? Okay, so with that, I'll wrap up this video. And again, let me know if you would like to see the step-by-step creation of this dashboard so you can do it for yourself. And if that's the case, I will share the files, the Excel files and the Google Sheets, however you should use it. And you can customize them, erase the data there and add your own data. And yeah, I'll show you how to do the data model, and you can use it for your business. So I hope this was helpful, but definitely if you are considering going into the shuttle service business, this is at bare minimum something that you need to be thinking about, whether you use a report like this to visualize your data or you use, your own tracking system. But, these are the type of things that you definitely need to be thinking about and keeping track of. Thanks for watching, everyone.